AI and robotics have revolutionized manufacturing, with robots leveraging powerful AI algorithms to play a more prominent role in various sectors. Recently, FASTory was assigned the task of producing different models of smartwatches, including variations in size, case, and band. FASTory will oversee the entire production process. FASTory begins by reviewing the daily production list to determine the products needed for different customers throughout the day. It approves the production orders, and an AI algorithm on the assembly line handles resource allocation for the entire workflow. Raw materials are optimally transported to the FASTory assembly line using the mobile robot, maximizing internal logistics within the factory. The dual-arm industrial robot then picks up the raw materials and places them on a pallet at the loading station. The pallets, based on the magnetic levitation motor system, move along the conveyor grid to the robot stations for product assembly. The magnetic levitation transportation system relies on magnetic levitation, enabling contactless 2D movements with up to 6 degrees of freedom. This movement capability facilitates easy manipulation of the workpiece from various orientations. The FASTory assembly line comprises 10 cells, each with a robot. Web service-enabled remote terminal units based on service-oriented architecture are equipped in each cell to subscribe to predefined events, such as robot status. AI algorithms on the FASTory line allocate pallets to robots based on the operation type, resource availability, and robot status, busy or idle. After successful product assembly by the robots, the pallet moves along the magnetic levitation tiles to the unloading station, where the dual-arm industrial robot transfers the finished product to the mobile robot. This marks the completion of the production process, and the product is ready for packaging. The mobile robot transports the finished product to the Prodigy cell. The Prodigy cell involves collaboration between the dual-arm collaborative robot and a human worker to produce the packaging box. The product is placed in the box by the human worker, who then positions it on a conveyor for onward transfer to the ceiling-mounted industrial robot cell. In the robot cell, the box is sealed and oriented correctly for delivery to the customer. The human worker retrieves the box from the conveyor's unloading point and places it on the mobile robot, which transports the final packaged product to the delivery bay for onward delivery to the customer.